We've been very blessed with having the expertise of probably the world's most notable person on this product.
Well, we heard about a gentleman in McHenry County,
Which is Mark DeVries from McHenry County Department of Transportation, be a mentor and a guide for us on this product.
actually came up with the solution of mixing salt brine,
Which is water and salt just mixed together.
beet juice, calcium chloride.
We have one tank that is the tank that we utilize to mix the salt with the water. And it literally is the same salt that we use to salt the streets. And then we just literally take a bobcat and bring a load from our own salt dome, and we dump it right in to an open vat of water.
Together? Yeah, these three tanks are tied together and they'll all have the salt brine in them. And then down at the end, there's a tank of calcium chloride, then there's a beet juice one. And then afterwards, you just bring it over here and you just send it over out to the outside tanks. Measure it all out, everything goes through strainers so it's nice and clean when it ends up outside. And then it just gets out there and then we recirculate the tank so it's all mixed real nice and just open these valves up. Make it 1,000 gallons at a time.
This measures the gallons per minute that the pump's putting out and how many gallons we're putting out to the final product outside, so we can mix it so it's always consistent.
And then there are a couple different rules of thumb. There's a 80-10-10 mixture, which is 80% the salt brine, 10% beet juice, and 10% calcium chloride. And then there's also an 80-15-5. And here at our community, we use the 80-15-5 mixture because we found that on our streets, with the pavement temperatures that we encounter, that seems to work the best for us.
In using the pre-wetting process of spraying our salt or pre-wetting the roads with the beet juice, it saves us time because now we can probably make one pass up and back to clear the road versus several times trying to scrape that up because it's not stuck to the road, which, you know, depending on the size and the length of the road, could be, you know, you add 20 minutes to any street times 20 or 30 streets. That's a lot more time.
So last year we started with this where we'll actually pre-wet the sidewalks downtown because the sidewalk temperature is a lot different than the road temperatures. And this truck that's set up here is set up a narrow Ford Ranger truck so that we can drive down a lot of the sidewalks that are downtown for pre-wetting, again, to try to break that pavement bond with the Supermix product.
And the beet juice, it helps the super mix to adhere to the street a little bit better. If you just drop salt alone onto snow or ice, it has to take time to react. It starts to melt a little bit, and then the water mixing with it, that's what kind of gets it all going. But once we pre-wet it and get the salt wet ahead of time, it starts to cut through the ice as soon as it hits the street.
Now with our trucks, what we do is, as we're dropping salt, it's sprayed with the beet juice. Now we don't want to use this beet juice out in the far west areas because of all the blowing. And what happens is you get the snow to melt, it blows over, and then it freezes, which case we would cause more of a problem than we're trying to solve. It's a very, very useful tool and everybody really needs to, and it's environmentally safe also.
And that means less salt is being washed into the storm sewers and then ultimately deposited in the Fox River. Everything that goes into our storm sewer system ultimately ends up in the Fox River.
Well, last year, February-ish, we decided to create our own facility so that we could manufacture the salt brine geomelt supermix, as we call it, mixture ourselves.
It's estimated that we save about $75,000 per year by making our own salt brine solution as opposed to buying it and then having to apply it to the product, where now we make it and apply it right on our own site out on Holmes Road, and So we're realizing initially a $75,000 savings per year, and when you take that over several years of use, it's a substantial amount of money.
We're doing many innovative things to provide top-notch service to our citizens and our residents of our community. The beet juice is only one example of it, because behind me on the board here, we have a system called AEVL, which is an active vehicle location, which is essentially an in-the-truck GPS unit. So when the trucks are out on the street, we know where they're at and we know where they've been. And we have the actual capacity of tracking the vehicle and literally plotting footprints that'll show their track up and down the streets, and we can see what streets they have been on and what streets they haven't been on. And this is actually something that we're considering putting out on the city's website, so that during a snow event like this blizzard of 2011, that citizens could actually look and see where the plow trucks are in relation to their own neighborhood or their own home, for that matter. And that's just one other example of some of the innovation that we're trying to help to improve the level of service that we have here.